Hello out there, this is DZ, your Overlord Dezeran, and welcome back to the 25th Ward, the Silver Case. Whoa, okay, hang on, my issue. There we go. Okay, headphones were getting a bit loose there. Okay, alright, we're good. So, we are back. We finished about Nighthawk in the last part, so we're heading back to Placebo with Morishima and looking into Yogore, if I'm saying that right. So let's do this. And I'm hoping after I finish this, it's going to change the name from Placebo. Great. You have one unread mail. Today's word, Dead Zone. 1. A space with no sound, a silent world meant to make people nervous. 2. In psychological terminology, it is the mental state of achieving a goal and then losing sight of the road ahead, accompanied by a sense of duty, giving up, and a sense of hopelessness. 3. The place between life and death. Great. That's just great. But either way, your true nature will be revealed, and you'll have no choice but to act. Really? But I still can't believe that I am capable of something like that. It's your calling, it's your fate, and your destiny. Is it not an order? Unfortunately, it's not an order. I can't give that order. What? Excuse me? What are you talking about? Yogore. Stars of Koblenz. I'll go over this once more, but this is a place for me to write about my dreams. This place is saved on an online storage mechanism, and the text is open for third parties to read freely. Why am I even bothering to write something like this anyway? I can't think of a good reason now. It may simply be that writing anything has just become a habit or a compulsion. Just like how when a person wakes up in the morning, brushing their teeth is a habit or compulsion. Habits and compulsions have stronger power than things with clear reasons. And with that, I'll continue to write about my dreams. The nightmare is set in the 25th Ward. So many people have died. Accidents, murders, suicides, they all look different. But they're all the same in the end. The same types of deaths repeated. How many people have died? Not a single resident believes that the figures publicized were true or correct. On the other hand, there is no life. Nobody was born and raised in the 25th Ward. The place is a huge morgue. A morgue is where dead bodies are kept. Bodies would be put on display in order to identify those who had died in war, or of starvation, or of sickness. These places existed in the larger European cities long ago, and now, the residents of the 25th Ward, even if technically alive, were no more than dead bodies. They are lined up nicely and in order on the borderline between life and death. They are lined up so that each and every one can wait patiently for their own turn to die. The residents were all gathered here. A pleasant living environment, an excellent location, all the latest cutting-edge facilities, etc. Bionic security systems and built-in kitchens and auto-reservation bedrooms. The buzzwords used by the PR firm were all true, but there were also things left unsaid. While the 25th Ward provided comfortable living, it also provided a whole lot of death as well. By the time this was noticed, the residents were already busy going to sleep and waking up there, working there, and living their lives there. Several days after the 10th death occurred in one of the apartments in those meaninglessly tall towers, a video showing the moment of death made its way around the internet. The people who viewed it apparently fell into depression, but not because it was a real video. Conversely, it was because the unrealistic-looking death looked like something from a movie, and it messed with their emotions and made them uneasy. A beautiful woman died on screen. I knew her. Huh. Okay. Bar Sumire. Wait. No. What about Jackhammer? I mean, I know that's in the 24 awards, but... Whiskey. Hostess. Is scotch okay? Anything is fine. Order like that, and I'm gonna give you the most expensive one we got. Are you from around here? Not anymore. This place used to have a different name, right? So you used to be a regular, huh? It was called Jackhammer, wasn't it? Yeah, I bought this place with all the furnishings. Did you know the old master? A pervert. That's about all I can remember. Shit. Me too. You're funny. No, I really can't remember. There's no way you'd forget that memorable face, though, right? Can I smoke here? There's an ashtray over there. Thanks. What's your name? Tokyo Morishima. Ah. Where did I put that? Rains of Porto-Vecchio. The rain that had fallen for 3 days was about to end, and it was a cold, dim dawn. I was drinking tea and talking with her in my room. We had conversations like this pretty often. Back then, whenever we had the time, we'd talk. She hadn't slept a wink, but she didn't seem sleepy at all. She had told me before that she could go a whole night or two without sleep. To her, insomnia, migraines, and starving herself were like friends, but her beauty showed no signs of any sort of illness. There was a certain sense of class in the way she did things like drink tea, to the point where even I, a woman, almost fell for her. Hey, do you have any secrets? She asked me. She asked me this as she looked at me over her teacup. Secrets? I returned coyly in a low voice. I knew that there was more to her query. Everyone has secrets. You should have some too. Stating things in a somewhat condescending manner was a habit of hers, especially when she was speaking to me. Having secrets. I thought about this for a while. I imagined how I'd change if I had secrets. At the time, I hung on her every word, listened carefully, and was extremely interested. I don't like the 25th Ward. Her topics of conversation always changed quickly. Why are so many people dying? Because there are people killing them. That was my answer. Who's killing them? The Regional Adjustment Bureau. Where exactly did you hear that from? You know who. She had nothing to say about you know who. Why do the Bureau agents kill the residents? For adjustment. That's just a different word for it. What do you mean? You're just using that term as another word for murder. Yeah, it's a more professional sounding term. Maybe they're trying to finish this systematically? Murder usually has a motive. It feels like we're in some kind of suspense novel. I laughed, but she didn't smile in the slightest. Even soldiers killing people in war have motive. It occurs when they see the enemy in front of them. Then what about assassins, hitmen who get contracted to kill people? They do too, of course, but the word motive is a bit different. Let's fix that. She stared at me with a serious look on her face and drank her tea without looking away. You know what sort of word that is? After asking me this, she went back to her commanding tone again. Think hard about it. I thought about it. Then 1 second later I answered, murderous intent. As I said the words, she smiled briefly for the first time and slowly nodded her head. Huh. Okay. I mean, murderous intent, yeah, or reason to kill. In the case of the Adjustment Bureau, well, members of the Adjustment Bureau, it's their job. But why they're doing it is they're rooting... The way they see it is they're getting rid of problem citizens. Yeah, this here. It's a turtle. Yeah, a turtle. What is this? The old master left this here. Said that if a guy named Tokyo Morishima shows up, then I should pass it on to him. I carved this. Huh? I remember there was some sort of trick. Trick? To this? Yeah, probably the shell. It sounds like he's starting to remember things. Skies of Jeddah. I wonder what sort of feelings I must have had for her in the beginning. Maybe it was like how a little sister feels about her big sister. Back then, I was still pretty immature and naive, but we weren't actual sisters, and we weren't even friends or acquaintances either. I knew that, so our relationship had a sense of fabrication, or maybe something scripted about it. If this was about me and GLG, then I would be able to concretely say what sort of relationship we had. It was extremely simple and clear and beautiful, a master-servant relationship. He is my master. Any order that GLG may have given me, I followed it to the letter, no matter what. It wasn't a bad thing. For me, being controlled by him made me happy. Being ordered to do something and then having to fulfill that order was pure bliss. She was ordered by GLG to be in charge of my training. He told me, think of her as a big sister and learn a lot from her. So I did my best to follow her orders, and through that I was able to indirectly feel the same sort of pleasure. What was complicated was that I had one more little sister. I don't know if she was actually younger than me, but GLG told me to think of her as a younger sister and to get along. But she acted much more like a real person than me. She was a stupid and foul-mouthed and sarcastic girl. My big sister was Milu, my little sister was Miru, and I was Meru. Apart from Milu, GLG gave us those names. I don't think the three of us had ever all spoken together at the same time before. I have no memory of that. We may have once, but I can't remember it. Basically, both Miru and I were trained respectively by Milu. So with regard to Miru, I thought of her as a younger sister who had been brought up in a different place from me. I had a job that I was assigned. My job was talking with men in sex chat. Apparently, this actually had educational purposes. I learned about the world through talking and sex chat. I became really familiar with male psychology and sex and sexual deviation. I became able to pretend like I was having sex for hours. What's important is the flow. Just as a sponge absorbs water, I absorbed all kinds of new things, and I became able to read the flow of conversation better and better. GLG had told me before that I was in possession of a really amazing ability. It's really surprising, not even Miru or Milu have that ability. Meru, I want you to try to read into my future. While I could read conversations, I couldn't read the future. So I told him that, but after that I felt as if the real me was somewhere else, and I felt really uneasy, as though a small dark hole opened deep in my heart. I was afraid that GLG would disappear someday. The real me imagined that, and it made my entire body shake with chills. The real me? That's right. I was a girl who was plugged in. Huh. Ah ha ha, the shell came off. There's something inside. What's this? You mean you put that in there yourself? Looks like it. What a weird present. You've got mail. Mail? The mail function is locked. Input your lock number. Ah, so it's locked. My birthday. What? I use my birthday for pin codes. Wow, that's pretty dumb. But I don't know my birthday. What? That's way past simply dumb. Oh. Rocks of Adelaide. Huh. That's right. Since I was a girl who was plugged in, the real me had never met Milu or Miru in person. I simply spoke to them through the monitor all the time. It's the same as how I would talk with the sex chat clients. The only communication I knew was done using a computer that was constantly connected to the internet. Miru was in a similar position to me, but I don't know whether or not she too was a girl who was plugged in. To me, it was something I don't need to know, as well as something I don't want to know. I feel like I should talk more about the past more now. Oh yeah, I'll write about the first time I met GLG. The first time I met GLG, I was still the real me, with an actual physical body. But that physical body was bereft of emotion. Wait. What? What do you mean the... What? What, were you scanned into the computer? Why don't you know your own birthday? Because I don't remember. Do you have amnesia? I've never had much memory of when I was a kid. But recently, I've started realizing that I can't remember lots of other things either. How come? That sounds pretty bad. But sometimes I can remember things. Like what, for example? Like this bar, for one. Oh, this place? Yeah, I felt like if I came here, I might be able to remember more. Ah ha ha, I see. What a weird customer. Sorry. Do you have a license? Huh? If you check your license, it has your birthday written on it, right? Oh yeah, I guess so. Looks like I'm way smarter than you. My license. It's in my wallet. March 27th. So you're an Aries. Okay. So I want 0327. What? You said March 27th. Clouds of Numea. Numea? I was born in the 24th Ward and brought up in a dark, underground space called the Shelter. Of the children raised in the Shelter, I was part of the third generation. Up till then, the technology to create completely controllable people had been honed extensively and was implemented there. But there were also many people from the Shelter who turned out to be less than perfect, and a few people who simply could not be deleted for whatever reason. I was one of the ones who turned out less than perfect. This may make you picture a child who can't really keep up in school, but the reality of the situation was actually much more grim. Also, I personally do not remember most of the things from my past in the Shelter. Apparently all of the Shelter kids have the same problem with remembering their time in the Shelter. It's not that our memories have been erased, but that it hurts to remember. So we can't. It was traumatic. It was GLG who taught me all of this. I first met GLG in a somewhat unseemly shop on the outskirts of the 24th Ward. The place was known as a sale club. And every day I would stand behind the counter in front of various types of boys. I was basically one of the shop's products, meant for more perverted customers. Then, one day, GLG showed up, and the very moment he saw me, he spoke to me. "You're a real girl, right? I'll buy you, so why don't you come along with me?" I I have all sorts of terrible experiences with having terrible things done to me by the customers who would purchase me there. But at the time, I was completely numb to reality. There were times when I'd wake up in some strange bed in the morning, unable to move, and I'd find my lower body covered in blood and all sorts of filth. But I simply felt troubled that I couldn't move, and have no memory of being shocked or traumatized by it. But there were some times when I'd get really nauseous in the shop's bathroom and would go into panic. When that would happen, the shop owner would give me a kind of medicine capsule. That night, like most of the other clients, GLG took me to a room in a love hotel. But it wasn't the usual cheap, dingy room. It was clearly a high-class VIP room. It had a king-size double bed and a plasma TV, and it had a huge, clean bathroom. And the bathroom had 2 baths that seemed to be for separate things. Also, outside the huge floor-to-ceiling window with lace curtains, there was a large wooden deck on the balcony. And installed in that deck was a big outdoor bath. GLG removed my clothes and put me in the outdoor bath. He was still fully clothed, and he crouched down in the round, white bath and looked at me. At the time, my body was emaciated. My skin had an unhealthy bluish hue, and my bones were visible through my skin. Even though he was staring at my body like that, I didn't think anything of it. GLG held my head kindly in his hands, and he spoke to me. When I said I would buy you, I didn't mean just for tonight. I paid for you to be released from that place. That night, GLG and I slept together in the king-size bed, with clean, comfortable sheets. GLG didn't do anything rough with me at all. In fact, there was nothing of a sexual nature happening whatsoever. Furthermore, he treated me like an independent woman. GLG used one hand to pull a book out of his bag and open it up. He stuck out his other arm for me to use as a pillow to rest my head on. GLG read aloud to me from a book written by an author named James Tiptree, Jr. The book was called The Girl Who Was Plugged In. I was entranced by his voice. What the hell is this? Incorrect lock number. What? I guess it's wrong. How come? This license. Maybe it's a fake. You mean a forgery? Hey, you're not. I may be. You seem like a dangerous guy. Sorry. Do you have anything besides your license? Just a credit card, but it doesn't have my birthday written on it. What about your credit card PIN code? PIN code? I think it's my birthday, but I don't remember ever having used it, so I don't know. Jeez. Shit. Well then, how about... screw it. I'm gonna close up shop for the day. How come? Nothing. Just kind of... I have a weak spot for dangerous guys. What? Oh god, man. Let me get a drink here. Blood of Caracas. The Girl Who Was Plugged In was a short story about an ugly, gross girl who tries to kill herself and is plugged into their beautiful, man-made Delphi and is loved by... Wait, what? Girl Who Was Plugged In was a short story about an ugly, gross girl who tries to kill herself and is plugged into their beautiful, man-made Delphi and is loved by everyone and acts as a sort of advertisement. GLG told me that we'd try something similar to this story. His proposal, as far as I was concerned, was an order. After all, GLG had bought my freedom for me. So no matter what he told me to do, it was my duty to follow his orders. Compared to Delphi and the girl who was plugged into her, the connection between myself and Meru, a simple recreation using computer graphics, was extremely low-tech. The job with which I was entrusted was to act as a sort of operator, making Meru speak and move and show various expressions of emotion, etc. The digital Meru was made to look like Milu. Milu's expressions and movements were captured and recreated in order to make Meru. Sometimes, responses to clients' comments were displayed in a list in a window, and this was basically a chat program used to support conversation. And this was made based on the conversational patterns of Quarter's #1 performer, Milu, to make sure that it would be a hit. Controlling this system of girls who were plugged in was not really as difficult as it may seem. In fact, as a shelter child, it was the perfect job for me. Finally, I made my debut at Quarter as a copy of Milu. It really was sort of my fate. Useless girls brought up in the shelter, before becoming grown women, were cut up and sold to rental shops for rich men to pick up. And before you know it, you're just a virtual woman hooked up to a computer. Until then, I didn't actually have any emotions. I had never cried nor laughed before. But as I chatted with countless men, I gradually started to get all of my emotions back. Actual physical sex and sex chat seem similar, but are vastly different. The men type out these mysterious phrases. The melons are delicious, huh? Oh, the melons are twitching. Ah, they're so cute and delicious. Stuff like that flows across the monitor. I had no idea what melon was supposed to mean, so the chat program installed in my computer took too long to choose a response and decided that these words made no sense. So I went ahead and randomly said, "Oh really? You like melon, huh?" And the guy on the other side got even more excited for some reason. So I guess it worked. Oh yeah, I love it. I really love it. I love it so much. Oh god, the melon is coming. Oh shit, the melon, here it comes. Melon! What the hell? At that moment, I laughed. Just a little bit. And the computer graphic Meru also smiled at that same exact moment. After teaching me about what kind of place the shelter was and what sort of things happened to me there, GLG watched over my rehabilitation. At the time, I was doing nothing but repeating the same basic live chat performance at Quarter over and over. But after a week, my skills had dramatically improved. I became able to completely and perfectly use the girl who was plugged in system. Being a girl who was plugged in was really fun. When a person keeps doing something they find fun, they get better and better at it. I think that GLG had a really good eye for talent. I was a genius at being plugged in. I gradually became able to keep up with the imaginations of all sorts of men in live chat. Meru can also speak out loud, as long as it was via the monitor. She could speak with clients using a mic and speakers. As for the subjects used in chat, they covered everything from spiritual-sounding, voodoo-like nonsense to information on the latest cutting-edge gene splicing technology. I became able to talk about anything. I actually have no idea whether or not that was the correct way of rehabilitating me. Basically, I escaped from my own physical being fused with the virtual Meru and followed the process to becoming a new independent kind of identity. What? I don't understand at all. So wait, is this Miru or Meru? I'm getting confused. Here we go. What the hell? What's this? This'll help you figure it out. So what is it? It's an online skimmer. It skims the magnetic info strip on a credit card, accesses the appropriate server, and automatically hacks in and finds the PIN code. Hey now, that's really something you got there. Some of the neighborhood thugs left it here. How do you use it? It's simple. Let me see your card. Here you go. Okay, here it goes. Transmission. What's that? I just like saying that. Talk. Skimmer. Okay. I'm gonna call it an episode here for the moment. So if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, a comment, subscribe if you want to see more, and share it with anyone else you think might enjoy it. If you want to suggest a game, leave it in the comments below, and check out links in the description for 25th Ward, the Silver Case on Steam. Although this is the PS4 version that I'm playing. And, well, in the next part we'll continue with Morishima here, see if we can unlock some of his memories, perhaps, and maybe find out more about this girl. Meru? I'm not sure which one it is anymore. I gotten a little confused. Either way, until then, this is DZ, your Overlord Dezeran. You all have a great day, and I'll see ya.